Patterson and them. But the tight end room discussion today, an interesting one. Like I said, not quite as exciting, maybe not as interesting.
It's
but
nice to just out and out win a room.
Yes, and right now, and I was telling my dad this last night because he asked me. He was like, with doing all of these breakdowns of the position groups, how many has LSU won? I was like, well, quarterback to me was a push. Running back, LSU won.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver was close from a top-end standpoint, but I think the depth of LSU gave LSU the edge there. So it would be 2-0-1 would be the record right now in LSU's favor. And then tight end, I'll spoil it right now. LSU wins this room as well.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to jump right
No, it's
ahead,
okay. It's okay. No problem at all. I would say LSU wins this room pretty easily as well, even though they don't have maybe as much experience as the Clemson room. They still, I think, they just outright win it from a talent standpoint and a ceiling standpoint.
And a discipline standpoint.
Yeah, yes, and a discipline standpoint as well. But to name the players in this room, LSU's room consists of Trades Green, obviously a true sophomore. Last year had 13 catches, 101 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He is 6'7", 245 pounds. And the impressive part about that weight is he had, obviously playing basketball last year, he ended up dropping down from 240 back down to about 220 and then got it all the way back up. He's about 6'7", 245. And then you've got Bauer Sharp, who last season at Oklahoma had 42 catches, 324 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is a 6 foot, 250-pound redshirt senior, so an experienced football player in the room. And then Donovan Green and J.D. LaFleur. That is a redshirt junior in green, and then a true freshman in J.D. LaFleur. Clemson's room consists of Olsen Pat Henry. That is their leader in the room, I would assume right now. The junior, 6'3", 240 pounds. He had 9 catches, 121 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They also have junior Josh Sapp, 6'2", 235, 6 catches, 63 yards. Redshirt freshman Christian Bentonker, 6'4", 245 pounds, with 1 catch for 7 yards last year. Marcus Dixon, 6'4", 265, and Logan Brooking, 6'4", 235. The storylines or the focuses I had for the LSU tight end room, I said big shoes to fill because obviously Mason Taylor was a godsend for 3 years. Absolutely saved you in the Florida State game in year 1 in 2022 getting out of bounds and has just been a massive part of this program and Brian Kelly's beginning at LSU. So big shoes to fill there. I put blocking with a couple question marks because that is the biggest concern right now is the ability to be a physical run blocker and those sorts of things. And then I put usage with 3 exclamation points because obviously you've seen so far in the tenure of Brian Kelly at LSU, the usage rate of the tight end is extremely high, and I think that will not change this season. For Clemson's room, I put good athletes because they do have consistently good athletes in that room. Unproven, and they're just not as
dynamic.
Not as dynamic. Yeah, it's a good word. They're not as dynamic or just as crisp as LSU's room is when I turned on the film. And obviously, they have some question marks in that room as well as one of their guys that I did not list. Actually, was arrested the other day for DUI.
Ian Shefflin? According to the report, listen to this police name for Clemson. Officer Tyler Cantrell was patrolling along Tiger Boulevard within city limits, in quotes, around 1:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and driving around 40 miles per hour toward the Oconee Bridge.
You're putting the cops speed?
When he noticed a car rapidly approaching his vehicle from the rear, the report said he observed the vehicle swerve over the double yellow line. This prompted Cantrell to merge into the median, allowing the vehicle to pass so he could initiate a lawful traffic stop.
You go.
I made contact with the driver, Ian Shefflin, identified through his GADL. I advised Shefflin the reason for the stop. Shefflin was arrested for driving under the influence. This incident was recorded on my body cam and will be downloaded to the BWCR server for Dabo Swinney to observe himself. The report states that it's Shefflin's first offense, and he was charged with driving under the influence without BA. inferring he did not submit to a breath test.
There we go. Okay.
Or the cop was like, "You play for Clemson. We're not going to really get this one." And you're clearly fucking hammered. I don't have to do anything.
You're also so much bigger than me because Schifflin is 6'8", 265.
Right,
he's a basketball power forward.
And that's the size of the room. When you look at Clemson's room, they have 6'3", 240, 6'2", 235, 6'4", 245, 6'4", 265.
It feels like
and 6'4", 235.
Kind of like a 1980s power forward.
So yeah,
he doesn't drink like one.
No, well, with the exception of our lubricated friend.
But so they don't have that same. Their tallest is 6'4". They've got 6'4", 265, and Marcus Dixon, who is strictly a blocking tight end. But yeah, so to talk about LSU's room a little bit, Trey Green is who we'll start with, obviously. The easiest one to talk about. Probably the easiest player to talk about on LSU's roster outside of maybe Harold Perkins and Garrett Nussmeier. Because he is, in all caps, I wrote, a walking mismatch. And you heard Brian Kelly say it the other day, even when he's covered, he's not covered. He is, 6'7", 245, a heck of an athlete because he's not just big.
He's sober.
Because you could just, yeah, he is sober. You could be 6'7" if you want. Like you can be tall.
A lot of people are.
A lot of people are just tall. We call those BFNs, big for nothing.
Oh.
And he is not big for nothing. He's big for something.
Money.
And it's catching touchdown passes.
In the green zone.
In the green zone. So he not only is 6'7", he also can jump quite high in the air and has great hands.
Strides like a beautiful gazelle.
He does. I said that he is a big wide receiver more than he is a tight end, but he is not afraid of physicality. That's what I've been most impressed with him up to this point. He is very much willing to get in the physical part of the game. He's young in the sport. He was a basketball player his entire life, got into football in high school, and then 3 years down the line was a 5-star and the number 2 player in the state of Louisiana. And then I just put red zone with an exclamation point next to it because it should be the green zone, not just the red zone.
Oh, that's good. I love when the guy just accidentally becomes a 5-star.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you're doing something else, and then all of a sudden you just kind of turn around and you're like, oh, I'm the best in the country at this?
Like, wow.
oh, shit, I didn't even mean to.
Good at football, an accident?
I was not something I was planning on doing,
right.
but okay, like,
this might be my future.
Yeah, right.
This is fun,
might just work out.
But I didn't mean to.
But, yeah, so that's Trey Green, and I put Lloyd actually in the control panel. I created a playlist that's got some clips of Trey talking, but there he is right there. That was at East Feliciana before he ended up transferring to Zachary, the powerhouse here in Louisiana. But, yeah, that's Trey Green. Very excited. And I actually have a few clips because he met with the media not that long ago in fall camp. And also Blake Baker spoke about him not too long ago as well. And those were some really, really good tidbits on kind of where Trey Green is. Where one, you get to hear Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator at LSU, talk about Trey and what it's like to go up and face him every day. And then Trey goes in depth on kind of how he understands the sport more. Because like we said, he's a young football player. And he talked about how he has grown in his understanding as well as his development in blocking and route running. Have you found it?
I see Trey Green cut up as in a presser.
I put it in the playlist tab. I should say tight ends, and it's got 4 clips in there. But yeah, so we'll have Blake Baker, just a few tidbits on Trey just to add to our breakdown of him, because I do think the expectations for him are extremely high this season. I think not just for the fan base, but also the coaches. Like, I think they have very high expectations for number 14, and I think he's going to be on the field quite consistently. Because I saw on this website we've used to help us that Lloyd talked about was cfbdepth.com. They have like the depth charts for all of the D1 football teams. And on tight end for Trey Green, they had like an even split between Trey Bauer, and Donovan Green all on usage rate. And I was like, I think definitely there's going to be a close usage rate between Bauer and Trey but Trey usage rate is going to be through the roof because he is just going to be a huge piece of what they do offensively. And you saw that in the bowl game where he doubled his touchdown numbers, doubled his reception numbers, and it was very, very impressive the way they used him. So
I proclaimed him the best player in America during that game.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. We were in.
I don't remember
It was
that.
the first football game we ever watched.
It was. It was the first time you were ever here.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
was. Yeah, and
Nice.
I was so bold as to.
No, I think
By the
it's
second half, and
I think he was on my non-quarterback
It's true
impact
to this
player list.
yeah. Did you get you
I
get?
think I did. I got Caden Durham and Trey Dez, which I'm very, very pleased with. Because I do think Trey Dez is going to be huge, especially in game one. Like, when you talk about just a safety valve, and one of the stressors of LSU going from 24 to 25 is the red zone, like being successful in the red zone. I just feel like, how do you not use your 6'7" tight end wide receiver to find that success? And the way he's looked at fall camp up to this point, where he quite literally can't be covered by anybody, should shine some light on the potential usage of him in game one. And if he can roll that over into the season, it would be massive.
That's the thing that stood out to me about these guys. That was the first thing that kind of came to mind was if you have Tradez and Sharp in red zone situations, that is potentially so killer.
Yeah.
You know, because it's two guys that have slightly different styles, but are sure-handed, can beat linebackers or whoever you've set up against them.
Yeah.
And not a lot of teams in the country
No, yeah, no.
can A, match up with it, but also just like have that on on their side of the ball.
And you have Donovan Green. We saw him go 13 personnel.
Right. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and not discounting him.
No,
but,
of course
you know.
not. But do you have the clips of...
This is an odd way to do it because I have to do it through control panel, so I can just do one at a time. I have Blake Baker.
That's fine. Here's Blake Baker talking about defending Tradez Green in fall camp.
I think this will work.
Well, yeah, Trey Dez he's an unbelievable athlete. He's got the ability to flex out like a receiver and be a mismatch. And then he's physical in the run game. You know, the one thing, especially, he's a highly touted basketball player that doesn't necessarily translate to physicality. Trey Dez will throw it in there. So he provides a problem. The other thing he provides a problem with, you don't know, depending on what personnel, they can line up in a lot of different formations. So he's a mismatch. And I think Coach Sloan and that offensive staff does a really, really nice job of trying to put him in advantageous situations.
Provides a problem.
I'm very proud of
That's what
myself.
you want. You want advantageous situations for Tradez Green.
I think he's an advantageous situation. I would imagine Blake Baker is very much happy that he only has to defend him in the fall.
Yeah, and practice instead of facing off against him in the regular season, because that, like we've said, is going to be
I would love to
pain
know
for
what
opposing DCs.
Clemson has to say. Like, if they were doing a positional breakdown of LSU and they see Tradez Green, like, would you spin it to, oh, he's a basketball player playing football?
Right. I think there would be some of that. Like, I think we definitely are spoiled by the fact that we can sit and watch him closely, see him at practice. Because I think when you see Tradez Green, you would probably say not good. Like, people would look at him and just say wide receiver. Like, that's all he is. He's not going to inline block. He's not going to be physical. He's just going to be a jump ball threat basketball player type. And I think when you really turn the film on and you really see Tradez Green work, he is so much more than just a jump ball guy. Like, you saw him, like, they wanted to get the ball into his hands in the bowl game. Like, he's on the little swing routes, little flat routes where they're dumping it off and letting him be an athlete with the football in his hands. I remember Central versus Zachary, his senior year of high school. He caught a slant route and took it, I think, 70 yards to the house. So, like, this is a 6'7" guy that's, first of all, catching a slant and just turning the burners on and dusting the Central High School defense. And I was like, I mean, what else are you going to do with that? So it's not like he's just this jump ball guy.
If you saw that in high school, you're cooked.
I mean, like, imagine taking a geometry test and then going and guarding that after.
Yeah.
Pass.
Mom, you actually don't have to come to this one.
Shout out to Aiden Anding.
Yep.
Dog.
Got him an offer.
Yeah, it did.
People helping people.
But that's Tradez Green. Huge. Next up, Bauer Sharp. I said versatile was the word I put next to him because I thought he was coming in to strictly be that physical tight end guy. Like, just strictly come in to be the blocker. Like, to be that change of pace, be physical. But I've been really impressed with the way he's caught the ball and the type of athlete he is, and that we've seen at fall camp. I said you need his physicality. As much as Trey'Dez Green is willing to be physical, Bauer Sharp brings that aspect of he is physical, and you need that physicality that he brings. He's a surprising athlete, and he's physically put together. And I know that surprising athlete can sometimes just be
code for white.
And hey, that's okay. But I've been very impressed watching him move and the way he's looked at fall camp up to this point.
I mean, he led Oklahoma in receiving last year.
Right, which didn't, I mean,
I know they had a terrible offense,
yes.
But I mean, that's...
No, it's still impressive. Like,
that's saying something.
They still have to, like, if you want to swing it to a positive, you have one person to stop.
Right.
And they couldn't stop
it. And so I'm excited for Bauer Sharp. I think the ceiling is high for Bauer. And the usage rate is what I've been impressed with the most, is they use him a lot in practice. Like, he didn't come here just to be, hey, Trey'Dez is our guy and you're going to block. No. Him and Nussmeier have a very good connection up to this point. And then I put former quarterback, because that's what he went into college football as a quarterback at Southeastern. There's that surprising athlete. Like, whoa, he just jumped over that guy.
The Lloyd hurdle.
But the thing I like about a former quarterback is the brain aspect of, like, as at tight end, he has the brain of someone that spent their entire life playing quarterback. So the IQ of the game is probably higher than that of, like, that's the change of pace from Trey'Dez, where he's young in the sport, started playing in high school. Bauer has a stronger, I would assume, understanding of
knows how to get open for a quarterback.
Because he was a quarterback.
Where would I want me to be?
Of course.
Bad touchdown interception ratio, though. 2-1.
Yep. Poor thing, old Sage Ryan got his one.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out.
You know how hard that is?
Next up, Donovan Green. I put surprising and don't forget next to him, because I think he's been a surprising sight at fall camp up to this point. But don't forget about him, because I think he's going to be used. I put 13 with some question marks next to it, because you have seen 13 personnel at fall camp, which obviously would include him. And I think he's going to be used as well. Maybe not as much, but his physicality is going to be nice. He does have an injury history. But if you go back and you read some of the reports about him coming out of high school, he's a 4-star tight end. And he wasn't as, gaudy of a tight end out of high school as Trey'Dez Green was. But he was a top-tier high school tight end.
Is like Pokemon?
Okay.
So if you look at the three, you got all three types. You got all kind of the three fundamental types of your tight ends, right?
Okay.
Like Green is kind of more your classic. He's athletic. He's a big body, but he's kind of maybe a block first guy.
Donovan Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sharp.
Yes.
You level him up one, a bit more of a pass catcher, but can still block and provide your traditional tight end duties. And then the ultimate version.
Yes.
Is Trey'Dez, right? Who's got the huge body, is a receiver, but like you said, isn't just a jump ball guy.
Right.
He's out there getting physical, putting a body on somebody if he has to. But that's what I thought our tight end room is like.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a good analogy. And then the last one, J.D.
I've never
LaFleur.
played Pokemon.
Really?
No.
I mean, neither. The last member of the room, I put J.D. LaFleur, who is just a mountain of a man. What is he, like 6'7", 250, 60 pounds?
Yeah.
Like, he's just massive. And I think he's an intriguing prospect. I don't think he'll get much burn this season, but I'm intrigued to see how he pans out. He obviously is a legacy. But my grade for the LSU tight end room I put was a B-, which some people might think is a little low. But I put a B- because just still kind of unproven. Like, kind of get that, you have injury question with Donovan Green, how much you're going to use him. Bauer Sharp is obviously the most proven in the room, and Trey'Dez Green, I think, I was right there with him. But I put an A+ ceiling. So it's a B- room right now, but it has the potential of being one of the best rooms in the country, in my opinion, just from what you have.
It's a very even-handed assessment.
Yes, and then turning the page to Clemson, this is just going to be a quick one. There's not much to really write home about this room. They've got, like I said, Olsen Pat Henry. He had 2 catches, 51 yards, and 2 touchdowns versus Virginia in 24. I see what they see in him. He's a really good athlete. He's got good hands. One of those touchdown catches against Virginia, Cade Klubnik essentially spiked the ball, and he kind of shoestring caught it. And caught it right down here with his hands, which is nice to see from a tight end because That's a play you kind of expect a wide receiver to make. You don't always know if a tight end's going to have hands like that. So I see what they see with him. And then they've got Josh Sapp, who's a legacy. He had a really good year in 2023 and then just was kind of stagnant in 24. He's a decent athlete, but I see the physicality he has. And he had a really nice play against Georgia Tech back in 2023.
Tight end is wild, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a legacy guy. His dad was a quarterback at Clemson. The one I'm high on is Christian Bentancur, the redshirt freshman, 6'4", 245. He was the number 6 tight end in the country in 2024. He is a pass catcher. He's got really good technique as a receiver. And he's just kind of iffy on the blocking standpoint. I think he could end up being the best in this room. So I put a star next to him because I don't think game 1 he's something to be concerned about for LSU. But I think down the line from Clemson's standpoint, he could end up being very, very good. And then Marcus Dixon is just strictly a blocker. And then you have Logan Brooking, who's the true freshman. He's physical. He played defensive end as well in high school, so he's got that physicality part. He's got some good hands, and he does some really good stuff yards after catch. But I think Bentancur will end up being the best tight end in this room because when you turn the film on, he looks really, really good. And you understand why he was such a highly rated tight end coming out of high school. Obviously, last year didn't get a lot of run as a true freshman. I think down the line this season, he's going to end up being a big piece of Clemson's success because I just don't know if I see it really from the two guys ahead of him. Like I said, Olsen Pat Henry, I think, will be the guy against LSU. That's who they'll use. They'll go to him. He's got good hands. He's a good athlete, and he is physical. So he'll be the guy they use the most. But I think number 87 is the guy that down the line you might see really step up for them.
But there's no real there's no fear of God in this room.
No, I think this is a easy win for LSU just on all levels. Like they're not very experienced either. Clemson's room, and they also just don't have the potential that LSU's room has. I put them as a C- with a B- ceiling. I think 87 Bentancur can be good and can make that room better if he steps up and kind of grabs a hold of it. But I just don't think it'll be what the potential of LSU's room is.
I don't think it's anything that we're dealing with also. It would be more interesting if the big basketball guy hadn't.
Right.
Dabo said he's going to miss some time.
Early on in the season. So down the line he could be back and, who knows. But I think this is a clean, easy win for LSU in this position group battle.
The only thing that you're scared of from this tight end room is just a sneaky touchdown.
Right.
Like if they put something on paper.
Yeah, no, I mean, because Olsen Pat Henry is
This is not the reason you'll lose a football game.
No,
it's not because you got beat by the tight end.
It's a touchdown or bust fantasy situation kind of
LSU,
thing.
Boom or bust.
Yeah. LSU can be better because of their tight end room.
Right.
I don't think Clemson, the best version of Clemson, has extreme success from that position. I think the usage rate between this position group is probably one of the biggest differences between these two teams that we say are eerily similar. Like LSU and Clemson, like you've said, they have a lot of things that are similar. I think one of the biggest differences is LSU's going to use the tight end room a lot more than Clemson's going to.
Also, both have a whiff of nepotism. J.D. LaFleur, and whatever,
Josh Sapp.
and Josh
Some
Sapp.
legacies.
Different size though between those two.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I think it's going to be. This is an interesting room just because I think this is the first one, and maybe it's really one of few that's not that closely contested of a battle. Because I think it's just easily LSU wins tight end room versus Clemson. Not only do they have better talent, better similar experience, they have much better potential, but also the best version of LSU is going to use their tight end room. I don't think the best version of Clemson really puts a stress on what they get out of that position.
Yeah.
I do think Bentancur, number 87, can be potentially big for Clemson down the line, and that would be huge for them. But I don't think against LSU you're going to see much other than number 11 and maybe number 5 with Olsen, Pat Henry, and Josh Sapp.
And the more we've kind of done this deep dive into Clemson, you're starting to see some of maybe not game 1, but maybe game 8, where you see the full potential of Clemson. You talk about the running back room, the tight end room. I think the wide receiver room is more than good.
Yes, very.
But and it's also young. You have 2 freshmen that are coming in, like sophomore. That will be, I guess, rising sophomores, if
True
you will.
sophomores, yep.
That played a significant amount of time. But when you look around, it's like there's still some things they're trying to figure out as well.
Right.
And LSU feels very much, and this is what happens when you don't utilize the portal the same way that LSU did, or name a team in the country aside from Clemson, where you have, like, in what world do you not go get a running back out the portal? Dabo's world.
I listened to a podcast yesterday, Dabo. They had Dabo on a Clemson podcast, and they talked about the running back situation. And he was like, well, before, we were headed, I think it was before, maybe they were headed back from the ACC championship game. And they got a 2-hour bus ride, and he went and sat down with Adam Randall, and he was like, he had this idea of, Adam, what's the thing you do best? And Adam said, oh, well, when I, run when I have the ball in my hands. And Dabo says, ding, ding, ding. He was like, what would you think if we worked you at running back, got that started before the bowl game, and then you saw it end up happening, not the bowl game, the playoff game, it ended up happening in the playoff game against Texas. And he was like, and we'll do it all throughout spring, and if it doesn't work and we don't like it, he said, you can hit the portal in May, and I'll do everything I can to support you in that decision. And
it's like a threat.
It's ended up working out, I guess, because he's stuck around. He's made the decision to stay at Clemson and do that, and he does look like a running back. But it is surprising to see them not go out and do something. And everything I've seen, because I've been in Clemson Twitter a little bit more, and they all are like high on him, like expect a lot. And I don't know if that's like wishful thinking of, because I saw someone, I think it was J.D. Pickell tweeted about Gideon Davidson, the true freshman that we talked about. We're like, the best version of Clemson might have Gideon Davidson as a top running back. And the guy quote tweeted and was like, get ready to learn Adam Randall, buddy. And I was like, they obviously have an extreme high belief in him. I'll be interested, but I think right now LSU wins the tight end room discussion pretty easily. And so I would say, I don't know if there's a clear room LSU has lost up to this point. I think wide receiver and quarterback can both be pushes. But running back and tight end, I think LSU wins both of those. Tomorrow will be offensive line. We'll get into that then. I'm going to spend a lot of today really diving into that to get as in-depth as I can, because I think, obviously, it's the most interesting room for LSU, most talked about. I think for Clemson it might be eerily similar, because as much as they are experienced, I've seen some reports and some different things about that room, and I'm excited to actually go in, look at it, and find out for myself. But right now I would say, if you want to look out however you want, I would say LSU probably is leading in the position group battle so far through the first 4. But I kind of expected that offensively. This LSU offense from a player standpoint is loaded, stacked. It really comes down to the